Hey, Owl fans. I'm Andrew Ramey from the Blue Wave. I'm here with head football coach, Coach Partridge. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
All right. How's your day been so far?
Been really good. Spent the morning this morning just kind of working on some 2016 graduate evaluations and getting through some of those films and getting ready for spring practice.
All right. Cool. So last season it was a tough season for you guys. But your first year as a head coach, what were some things you were able to learn as your first year as a head coach that you can translate maybe into this upcoming season?
You bet. There was a lot of wins that don't necessarily get reflected in the win or loss column.
Mm-hmm.
We were 4 games, that didn't go our way, that got decided in the last 30 seconds, and 2 that did. So we're very, very close. The thing that I'm most excited about is there's been a true culture shift. Our academic performance really went through the roof. We had over 45 players with a 3.0. That leads to wins on the field because you know consistently who you're going to have with you. And then the other part is just the whole concept of development throughout the course of the year. We've come a long, long way with those regards, and it'll pay off this year.
Yeah, definitely. Recruiting, you had a great recruiting class this year. What are some guys that you can feel like are going to be instant impact players?
It's hard to predict who exactly is going to be able to come in because there's definitely going to be an influx of talent. And from day one, I said our focus was going to be from that Tampa-Orlando corridor down, and 20 of our 27 commitments are from that space, from that area. So we're very excited about that. But who to predict will come in, it just depends on who's mentally and emotionally mature enough to handle Division I football.
Speaking on the 20 of 27, kind of from Tampa down, I believe you have 11 of your 27 are from the Broward, Palm Beach County area. How key is that to get some of these local talented guys that are maybe 50 miles away to come play at FAU instead of going to other schools?
It's something we're really proud of. There's so much talent here in the South Florida area, starting in our own home county of Palm Beach, and really we're only a couple miles, as you know, from the Broward County line. So to get 11 of our members of the class from those 2 counties was important to us. I think it proves that we are committed to this area and will continue to be as we move forward.
Now, a recruiting class like this, what does that show future recruits and FAU fans?
Well, I think what it shows is that this is a program, much like the university, that is on a fast rise. I mean, everything here is very new, is very young. You go back to as recent, and it won't seem recent to you, but in the mid-'80s, this, as you know, and many may or may not know, this was a 2-year college in the mid-'80s, has now exploded into a full-scale research university. And the football program, being only 14 seasons old, is mirroring that pattern and speed of growth. A recruiting class like this, having a bowl game in our stadium, having Miami as our home opener, those are all markers that show you this is a program on a fast rise.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned spring practice. I know that's starting off soon. Who are some of the key players that you're looking forward to that most FAU fans may not know quite yet?
That's a very good question. You look at defense, and I'll start on that side of the ball. Defensive line, we have most of our guys returning, so just looking for steady improvement. But we do have a number of guys coming out of their redshirt year that could impact. Hunter Snyder is a 6'6", now 250-plus pound defensive end that we think has a chance to make a difference. Devin Santana is another guy who could play D-end or D-tackle up front. You look at the linebacker position, losing Andre Kirk it's going to be hard to fill those shoes, right? But Robert Ralph is a guy who, he started for us last year, but continued to get better throughout the course of the year, and we're looking for big things from him. And a couple of our linebackers will have to compete for those other 2 spots, and then we've got 2 safety spots to fill as well as a corner, but we feel good about the guys coming up, and Reggie Brown coming off his knee injury, his rehab is going great. You also got Rock Williams, who played last year as a true freshman. So there's a number of guys. Anthony Hamilton at the safety spot is someone. Jake Stoshak, Jensen's younger brother, is someone who is showing that he's got the savvy up top to be a safety. So those are some defensive guys just off the top of my head that we're looking for them to have an impact. On the offensive side, our offensive line, the majority of them are back. We have to replace Braden Lyons at the center position, or really at the right tackle, because he bounced with Joe Gold there at the center as a true freshman. So we're going to have a number of guys competing for that. At the wide receiver spot, I'm looking, we put Henry Bussey in that Lucky Whitehead slot position, so we're excited about things he can do. Trey Rodriguez is an early graduate. who's here right now, who's doing some really good things in workouts. So there's a number of things. Obviously Greg Howell comes back and had an impact as a freshman. So there's some good things happening on both sides of the ball.
That's good to hear. So the schedule was released a couple weeks ago. You got 6 home games this year compared to other years. How important is that to get that extra home game?
When you talk about markers in terms of being a Division I level program, that's one of your markers. It's hard to really compete and say you're going for the Division I type of level and growth when you don't have 6 home games, and having 6 is a big deal, and we have a great home schedule. Obviously, everyone knows or should know that we open up with Miami September 12th, but you've also have Marshall coming in, Rice, who is a team that's been in the conference championship recently. You've got Middle Tennessee, you've got the heavyweights in our conference, plus Miami, Buffalo coming into our stadium, so it's a great home schedule.
All right, and then 3 in-state foes this year.
Yeah.
How does this show not only competitive, being able to compete with them, but also recruiting-wise, showing recruits maybe outside of the Tampa area that FAU is a team that's willing to play with some of the top teams?
Sure. I mean, as you know, we're going to take each game one at a time, but our first goal foremost is to win Conference USA. That's a goal that we're always going to go into the season with. So, International is an important game for us. When International comes here, that's a team that it's a rival school. It's someone that is important for us to get that victory and get the Shula Trophy back after not getting it last year, and then having Miami, a marquee name program that's been around a long time since our founder, Coach Schnellenberger, got them back on the map. It's an important game, and then going up to Gainesville is a great experience for our kids to be in an SEC stadium.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you. Go Owls.